Our previous video was a really nerdy technical essay on film pastiche. What it is, an imitation of style or genre for a specific effect, and what it isn't, parody or a comedic treatment of genre or style, or homage, which is a tribute to prior work. Today we'll take a lighter approach by laying out our top 10 list of pastiche films. If we don't include your favorite, it's possible we missed it, but more likely it's not strictly a pastiche. Maybe it's an homage with pastichal flourishes, or a pastiche with deconstructive overtones, even though we occasionally break our own rules and include such films, but we'll call those out. The point of the exercise is to start a discussion and to help all of us understand where pastiche and its fuzzy boundaries lie. We'll lay out our top 10 and some honorable mention films, and as always, we'll try to call particular attention to films that have perhaps been underrepresented in other similar lists, such as international films and films directed or headlined by women and persons of color. We won't be doing a David Letterman countdown or a SportsCenter top 10, but we'll lay them all out now. Da-da-da, So, without further ado, here's our top 10. The Artist, Pulp Fiction, Blancanieves, The Forbidden Room, Barbie, The Love Witch, Holy Motors, House, The Wild Goose Lake, and Rango. And here's our honorable mentions list. Goodbye Dragon Inn, The Ariel, Kill Bill, Black Dynamite, Velvet Goldmine, R100, The Black Dollia, and Hot Fuzz. Now we'll briefly go through each film. For us, the best outcome is that something in the description, clips, or stills of these films will spark an interest and get you to go out and expand your cinematic horizons. We'll tell you where you can watch some of these films, especially if they're more difficult to find, and we found them for free. Keep in mind, though, that I was in the middle of watching Heat last week, and when it turned over to a new month, I went back into Netflix to finish, and the movie had been removed from my continue watching and was no longer available. So there may be some tears involved in this process, but we're determined to push ahead anyway. So let's start at the top. The Artist, a silent film, pastiche, and loving tribute to 1920s Hollywood. It mirrors A Star is Born while embodying early cinematic form and sentimentality. Arguably, the most prominent mainstream pastiche of the 21st century, technically devoted to silent cinema reproduction. The Artist is a French film released in 2011. It's directed by Michel Hazanavicius, whose name I said in one take. The film was nominated for 10 Oscars and won 5 of them, including Best Director for Hazanavicius, Best Actor in Jean Dujardin, who started out as a stand-up comedian and you may recognize from Wolf of Wall Street, and Best Picture. The film also stars Berenice Bejo, who was also nominated for an Academy Award for Best Actress, and is married to the director Hazanavicius. The three of them reunited in 2006 for one of my top parodies of all time, OSS 117 Cairo Nest of Spies. You can watch it for free on Hoopla, Pluto TV, Plex, Vudu, Fossum, Tubi TV, or if you have a subscription to Peacock. Our next film is Pulp Fiction, which is a pastiche with original synthesis. It's a landmark of postmodern cinema. Pulp Fiction is rated 8th of all time by IMDb's skewed white male-dominated list, and still a very impressive 129th in the 2022 Sight and Sound poll. Tarantino's film redefined non-linear storytelling and revitalized genre filmmaking through a mosaic of dialogue-driven vignettes and cultural references. It synthesizes hard-boiled crime, kung fu, French New Wave, and pop culture without critique. Pure stylistic recombination. Number 3, Blancanieves, Spain's silent film homage to 1920s European cinema, retelling Snow White with bullfighting and flamenco flair. A silent black and white pastiche of European cinema and fairy tale mythos with political subtext and formal invention. It's directed by Pablo Berger, or Berger, I believe both are correct, and stars Maribel Verdú from Y Tu Mamá También and Pan's Labyrinth. You can watch it now on Canopy with a K, for free. If you don't have a Canopy account, you can get it with a local library card. Also, you can watch it for free on Tubi TV right now. That brings us to number 4, The Forbidden Room, directed by Guy Maddin and Evan Johnson, who also collaborated on The Green Room, another great film. The film was released in 2015 in Canada. The Forbidden Room is an obsessive homage to lost silent films, early melodrama, and German expressionism. It's densely intertextual and avant-garde, a maximalist pastiche of lost cinema tropes, melodrama, and surrealist serials with avant-garde flourish. It stars Roy Dupuis from that old TV show La Femme Nikita. Remember that one? You can watch it for free on Canopy and Hoopla, or rent it on several other streaming platforms. Number 5 is Barbie, the movie we all know and most of us love. I love it. Barbie is definitely a pastiche, but it also has homage undertones. Barbie is a stylistic homage to classic Hollywood musicals and fashion films, particularly two of my very favorites, The Red Shoes and Singin' in the Rain, infused with feminist satire. An ironic and heartfelt pastiche of musical, toy commercial, and feminist metatexts, unique for its mass appeal and postmodern layering. Directed by the great Greta Gerwig. This is our first film of the list directed by a woman. The second one headlined by a woman, headlined by Margot Robbie, where Blancanieves is headlined by Maribel Verdú. You can watch Barbie on Max or Netflix if you have subscriptions. Number 6 is The Love Witch, also directed and headlined by women. Anna Biller's film is a feminist visual study in Technicolor horror and occult sexploitation, deeply faithful to 1960s aesthetics while subverting their gender politics from within. Anna Biller painstakingly recreates the style and technique of 1960s exploitation and horror cinema, color palette, lighting, acting style, and set design, without ironic distance but with an affective feminist critique. The film is a conscious aesthetic collage with ideological undertones, making it a textbook pastiche with homage-like sincerity. You can see the comedy horror romance on Canopy, Vudu, Pluto TV, Tubi TV, Plex, or if you have a subscription to Peacock. Number 7 on our list is Holy Motors, released in 2012 in France, directed by Leos Carax. Holy Motors is a pastiche, but with deconstructive overtones. Holy Motors is about the history of cinema itself, from silent film and musical to horror and sci-fi, filtered through surreal performance. The film is more fragmented than most, but it is an essential pastiche of cinematic performance styles and genre archetypes. The film stars Denis Lavant, Edith Scobb, and Eva Mendes. You can watch it for free on Canopy, Tubi TV, Pluto TV, the Roku channel, Shout Factory TV, Plex, Fossum. You can find it lots of places. Number 8 is the 1977 Japanese film House, or Hausu. House is a hybrid. It's a surreal pastiche, but it's also a genre subversion. House is a gonzo pop art pastiche of horror, manga, and student films collaged into a surreal haunted house film. It's formally experimental and culturally hybrid. It's directed by Nobuhiko Obayashi and stars Kimiko Ikegami. The film's plot summary says, a schoolgirl and 6 of her classmates travel to her aunt's country home, which turns out to be haunted. You can watch the movie if you have subscriptions to Max or the Criterion channel. Or you can rent for under $3 on several platforms, including Amazon and Vudu. Number 9, Yinan Diao's The Wild Goose Lake, released in 2019 in China. Wild Goose Lake is a pastiche with noir affection. It's a neon-drenched pastiche of noir tropes filtered through stylized violence and surveillance-era paranoia. It's a crime drama you can watch for free on Canopy or Hoopla or with a subscription to the Criterion channel. For this film, Yinan Diao was nominated for the Palme d'Or at the Cannes Film Festival. Number 10 on our list is Rango by Gore Verbinski. Rango is an animated Western comedy that incorporates film noir, spaghetti westerns, and existential absurdism. Rango plays as a revisionist children's film with adult cinephilic flair. It quotes everything from Chinatown to Leone wrapped in a childlike shell. It's a postmodern animated pastiche and a screwball comedy filled with metatextual references and visual homages. It, I think, unfortunately stars that guy who's in those pirate movies that I now try to avoid, but because it was animated, I gave it a pass. You can watch it for free on Hoopla, or if you have subscriptions to MGM+, Fubo TV, or Paramount+. The first of our honorable mention films is Goodbye Dragon Inn, and honestly it's a shame that it couldn't make it in the top 10. It is a beautiful film, an elegiac homage to the death of cinema set in a nearly empty movie theater, showing King Hu's Dragon Inn. It's directed by Mingliang Tsai. A.O. Scott said that the film has a quiet, cumulative magic whose source is hard to identify. Its simple, meticulously composed frames are full of mystery and feeling. It's an action movie that stands perfectly still. Famous independent film director Apichatpong Weerasethakul said this about Goodbye Dragon Inn. He called it the, capital T, capital H, capital E, the best film of the last 125 years. Now, whether that's hyperbolic or not, it's a legitimate point of view and a beautiful film that deserves to be seen. especially at a runtime of only 82 minutes. The film won several awards, including the Fipresci Prize at Venice and the Best Feature Gold Plaque at the Chicago International Film Festival. You can and should watch it for free on Canopy, or you can watch it if you have a Hoopla subscription. Our next honorable mention film is The Ariel, out of Argentina. This is The Ariel as in the antenna. It's directed by Esteban Sapir. The film is an homage to German expressionism, silent film, and dystopian sci-fi, with striking black and white cinematography and intertitles. It's a beautiful stylistic pastiche of silent cinema and expressionism and totalitarian allegory. It is a very worthy inclusion. Critics weren't quite as high on this film as some of the others on this list. But just like audiences, critics don't always get it right, maybe especially an amalgamation of critics. You can watch the film on Mubi if you have a subscription. Now we come to our second Tarantino film. Kill Bill is a hyper-stylized martial arts saga blending revenge tropes with grindhouse aesthetics, offering both spectacle and a cinephile's treasure trove of allusions to global genre cinema. A collage of samurai cinema, spaghetti westerns, grindhouse, and martial arts films. Less critical, more cinephilic reassembly. Though visually stunning, its aggression and auteurism may overpower its pastiche nature. Kill Bill stars the ever-wonderful and always underrated Uma Thurman. It looks like, as of this moment, it's not streaming for free or with any subscription service, but you can rent it on all the typical streaming services for $3 or $4. Our next film is Black Dynamite, which is a pastiche, but it absolutely has elements of satire. Black Dynamite is a razor-sharp parody of 1970s blaxploitation films. This homage blends loving recreation with pointed critique of cinematic stereotypes and political posturing. I'm throwing around words here like parody and satire and homage during a list of films that I'm trying to clearly define as pastiche. This one crosses boundaries for sure. It is, however, a landmark in black cinema, academically discussed alongside I'm Gonna Get You, Sucka. I'm so sorry, please don't uninvite me from the cookout. It's visually impeccable with strong pastiche and satire layers, and parody. It blurs the boundary between mimicry and reverence. If it is a pastiche, and I think that's probably where it leans, it's a pastiche of blaxploitation, kung fu, and exploitation cinema. This action comedy stars Michael Jai White, and you can watch it for free on Tubi TV or rent it on several other platforms. Next is Todd Haynes' Velvet Goldmine from 1998. It's a pastiche with an homage core. Velvet Goldmine is a glam rock fantasia constructed as a media mystery. Haynes' film uses narrative echoes of Citizen Kane and allusions to David Bowie to explore queer identity and cultural erasure. It replicates the glam rock era with visual and narrative allusions, blending this homage with pastiche. It has kind of this queer camp Orson Welles narrative structure in 1970s British media culture. It's a strange mix. It's more of a thematic homage and metafiction than a formal pastiche, though still vital. The movie was released in 1998 and stars Ewan McGregor, Jonathan Rhys-Meyers, and Christian Bale. It's for rent on several platforms. Our next film is Japan's R100. It's a pastiche with parodic surrealism. It's directed by Matsumoto Hitoshi, and it's this interesting homage to Japanese pulp cinema, BDSM erotica, and absurdist comedy, blending genres with knowing satire and cultural play. It's surreal and fascinating, but hard to classify or assign clear intertextual anchors. This film, along with Velvet Goldmine and The Ariel, were all critically split. You can watch it for free on several platforms: Tubi TV, Plex, Canopy, Hoopla, Fandor. The next film on the list is The Black Dollia by Brian De Palma, and I always appreciate a Brian De Palma film because it can't be anything but a Brian De Palma film. His fingerprints are all over it. This film is De Palma's take on the famous murder case. It's visually elaborate, emotionally icy reconstruction of noir tropes that prioritize style over narrative cohesion. It's this neo-noir pastiche drenched in 1940s visual codes, style foregrounded over psychological realism. The set design, lighting, and femme fatale dynamics all invoke this 1940s Hollywood crime film feel. It is definitely stylish noir pastiche, but it's critically mixed and less formally innovative than some of the other films that made it into our top 10. Our next honorable mention is by Edgar Wright. There were several Edgar Wright films that we considered placing on this list. There were also several Wes Anderson films that we considered, but ultimately felt they weren't enough of a pastiche. Hot Fuzz still kind of straddles that line for me. Is it a pastiche of American action blockbusters like Bad Boys and Point Break and British crime dramas and folk horror? Is it a parody? I don't really know. What do you think? While Hot Fuzz leans heavily into parody, its precise recreation of genre styles and affectionate tone do seem to place it in the pastiche continuum, for me at least, much like Shaun of the Dead. Hot Fuzz is a brilliant send-up of American action movies and small-town thrillers, simultaneously hilarious and meticulously constructed. The film is widely regarded as a parody, but with important hybrid elements that distinguish it from more straightforward examples of the genre. Critics loved the movie. Audiences really liked the movie. Like several of Edgar Wright's films, it stars Simon Pegg and Nick Frost. Martin Freeman's also in this one. If you have a subscription to Peacock, you can watch it for free, or you can rent it on The Usual Suspects. Those are the honorable mention films, but wait, there's more. There's one film that I mentioned in the previous film essay, Amare, made in 2009 in Belgium and France. It's directed by Elaine Catet and Bruno Forzani. It is definitely a pastiche. It's a sensual, near wordless pastiche of Italian giallo films. You gotta hold on that double L in Italian, or Italians will get mad at you. The film mimics Argento and Bava in color, sound, and framing. It's a strong visual pastiche, but narrative thinness limits its broader acclaim. Critics seem to like this one better than audiences did. Like many of the Italian horror thriller films that Amare mimics, some of the images really stick with you. I'll give you one more bonus film here as well. If you like the idea of Amare, or if you like the film itself, try Let the Corpses Tan by the same directors. The film is a continuation of their giallo pastiche work, here channeling spaghetti westerns, grindhouse, and 1970s pulp. Again, very striking images. So of our maybe 20 total films that we've discussed, 7 of them are international. Amare, The Forbidden Room, Holy Motors, House, Goodbye Dragon Inn, The Wild Goose Lake, and Let the Corpses Tan. 4 are female-directed. Amare, Let the Corpses Tan, Barbie, The Love Witch. And the genres that these pastiche films touch are kind of all over the place. Between giallo and exploitation, you've got Amare, Let the Corpses Tan, and House. For noir, crime, and neo-noir, you've got the Black Dollia and the Wild Goose Lake. For Western samurai action pastiche, you've got Let the Corpses Tan and Kill Bill. For pastiches of melodrama or classic Hollywood, kind of period aesthetic pastiche, you've got Velvet Goldmine, Barbie. I'll throw in Marie Antoinette there as well. That's more of an homage, but an homage with pastichal elements. The film Holy Motors touches art cinema, memory, surrealist pastiche. And Rango's our sole entry in the animation or children's genres, kind of this postmodern collage. Other films that we didn't talk about seem to straddle this line of pastiche films with either parody or homage, usually, but sometimes even satire. Some films we didn't mention are Steven Soderbergh's The Good German, Wes Anderson's The Grand Budapest Hotel. It's a confection of pastel Art Nouveau. Its montage narrative creates a fictional 1930s Eastern Europe. So it's not a parody, it's kind of this atmospheric construction of historical style as aesthetic, emotion, and narrative grammar. So in that sense, it feels like a pastiche. The Royal Tenenbaums, also Wes Anderson, iconic work that pastiches mid-20th century family dramas, and the tone of Salinger-esque prose. Its controlled theatricality, eccentric production design, and detached narration evoke a bygone cinematic sensibility. Maybe I could have included Royal Tenenbaums in our list here. I didn't mention it in the script here in the text, but interlaid some clips of Last Year at Marienbad. It's an avant-garde Baroque pastiche of new wave memory play and literary cinema. Its deliberate artifice, repetitive shots, and palatial mise-en-scene reconstruct the echo of elegant, hallucinatory 1960s art film form. Also, I didn't mention this in our list, but Playtime, Jacques Tati, a beautiful comedy. Though the film is not by or about black cinema, this Jacques Tati work copies mid-century modernist spectacle with almost architectural precision. Tati's performance is submerged in vast stylized sets that mimic the texture and tone of 1960s urban design. There are a lot of movies out there that are either pure pastiche or have pastichal elements. This is an important part of the cinematic language that I hope you'll begin to notice more as you watch films and explore. Until next time, good night and good luck.